Applying parallel compression to a lead vocal will really help it stand out in the mix, making it fatter and fuller. It's not a technical, difficult thing to do, but it's highly effective. I'm going to show you how. Let's dive straight in. There's a number of different ways you can approach parallel compression. None of those are wrong. It just really depends on what works with your workflow. You could, for example, duplicate your vocal track and then apply your compression onto that new track. You could simply drop your compression in your vocal chain. I'd recommend doing that before your reverb, but certainly after most of your processing in your EQ and any other compression that you're doing. And then blending it in with your mix knob or the dry wet knob on your compressor. Or you could do as I'm doing, create a separate bus, put your compression onto that separate bus, obviously send your vocal to it, and then blend that in simply using the fader on that bus. So that's what I've done today. I've created a Vox Crusher bus just down here, and my vocal is being sent to the Vox Crusher. I'm going to blend that in a moment. But first of all, I just want to go over the settings that I've got on this compressor and why I've dialed them in. So if we're looking at attack and release, I'm dialing in a pretty fast attack time because I want the compressor to dig in really early on those transients. And I find with the slower release time, it gives me a slightly fatter sound as it's not letting go. It's giving me a bit more sustain, but you can play around with these settings and see what works for you. And driving the input really hard, I'm seeing at least 10 dB of gain reduction. I think I'm pushing a fair bit more than that. And I've gone all in on my ratio on this 1176 plugin. Certainly going with heavier ratios, 12:1 onwards, that kind of ballpark. What I'm listening out for is my vocal feeling crushed because I'm going to blend that back in with my more natural sounding vocal to get the best of both worlds. So let's have a listen to what that sounds like on the vocal.
Who's these guys? Community cops, gangs and knives will make it stop. Someone please free the beast.
So I've dropped my fader all the way down to the bottom on my Vox Crusher bus, and now I'm going to slowly blend that in. I'm listening out for the vocal fattening out, fulling out, standing out of the mix. Now, this is a subtle thing to do. You don't want to be slamming it all the way to the top. I'm thinking typically I end up with around 10 to 30% of this Vox Crusher bus blended in. So let's take a listen as I bring it back in.
Who's these guys? Community cops, gangs and knives will make it stop. Someone please free the beast. And now we got life. Now we got life. Who's these guys? Community cops, gangs and knives will make it stop.
So I've settled at this level. Take a listen to that soloed. So it doesn't sound like that much, but when I bring in and out, you can really notice the difference, that vocal coming forward in the mix. Let's take another listen now with the parallel compression off.
Who's these guys? Community cops, gangs and knives to make it stop.
And on.
Someone please free the beast. And now we got life. Now we got life. Who's these guys?
Back off.
Community cops, gangs and knives to make it stop. Someone please free the beast. And now we got life. This is day release.
So that's dialing in parallel compression on a vocal using quite extreme compression settings to help your vocals punch through the mix whilst also keeping and maintaining the dynamics of the vocal performance. I've got a free vocal EQ cheat sheet. You can grab that right now below this video. I've also got a bunch of home studio production and mixing courses. You can find a link for those below this video too. I'm going to give you 10% off those courses right now with YouTube 10. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe here on YouTube. And most importantly, my friend, go and have yourself a great day.